Looking for an electric bike? Want to convert a bike you already have? Or just looking for an extra battery for your e-bike? Check out our range at lebikes.co.uk. Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Liam Angel, aka Straight Shooting LJ, and welcome to another episode of the LE Bikes Opinions Vlog and Podcast. Now, what I want to discuss today is actually something quite interesting that's popped up literally today as I record this, and it is to do with the London Fire Brigade and Deliveroo riders. Now, obviously delivery riders in general, let's keep it as that. But something interesting, I'm just going to read something quickly. Delivery riders are to be taught about the fire risks surrounding e-bikes. The food delivery riders who often use e-bikes as part of their work will be given safety information by the London Fire Brigade at a special event at Shoreditch Fire Station on Tuesday the 13th of August 2024. They will also be shown a burnt out e-bike and e-scooter after they caught fire. The LFB, London Fire Brigade, says e-bikes and e-scooters are among the capital's fastest growing fire risks. Paul Bedford, Director of Policy and Sustainability at Deliveroo, said the safety of our riders is a top priority, and we're proud to partner with London Fire Brigade on its hashtag Charge Safe campaign. We support riders who want to use sustainable vehicles whilst riding with us, but it's important, it's so important that those who sell this equipment ensure it meets the highest safety standards. He added that events with the LFB, which have also been held in Ealing, Wimbledon and Marble Arch, were a fantastic platform to engage with riders about using e-bikes safely and responsibly. So, the LFB reported a 78% increase in e-bike fires in 2023 compared with 2022. More on that a bit later. The brigade said there were 155 e-bike fires and 28 e-scooter fires recorded last year, and so far this year there have been about 100 e-bike and e-scooter fires, an average of one fire every 2 days in London. The LFB did have some safety recommendations, which I will come back to a bit later as well. But the LFB said it would like to replicate the work with Deliveroo with other gig economy companies such as Uber Eats and Just Eat as well. The brigade said it had also been working with Amazon so that people who buy an e-bike, e-scooter or accessories such as a battery pack, conversion kit or charger receive charging and safety tips directly after their purchase. Now, of course, we are doing the LE Bikes Tips and Tricks series on YouTube, Instagram and TikTok. You can see those videos, just search for LE Bikes Tips and Tricks. Not only about keeping your e-bike running properly, but also in terms of safe charging practices and other things such as that as well. So we are actively doing that because we are obviously doing conversions. We are obviously sourcing batteries for people, and also we are selling electric bikes such as engwe and himiway. So we are acutely aware of the safety implications as well. So just to note that as well, I said the LE Bikes Tips and Tricks series is on all major social media platforms. Now, with this initiative that the London Fire Brigade have done in Ealing, Wimbledon, Marble Arch and also Shoreditch, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The London Fire Brigade doing this, it is absolutely brilliant, because, and I mean this with all due respect to all delivery riders and gig economy workers out there, but a lot of them are maybe from low income backgrounds, let's say, and they're doing the gig economy stuff to make ends meet, just to put a meal on the table. I'm not taking away from that, not criticizing that, but it is one of them ones. A lot of them, English is maybe a second or third language, so they may not understand stuff such as stuff that is put on certain Amazon listings or eBay listings, wherever people are getting their bikes from, their e-bikes from. They may not understand stuff like the safety implications, the certifications, among other things that come with more reputable electric bikes, and they may not know the difference between a reputable seller such as us here at LE Bikes and someone who's just put something together with the cheapest parts they could possibly find on Amazon, and it's not been done properly, or not been done safely at the very least. So there's that sort of education that needs to happen. But also as well, in terms of fire safety, it is about knowing you can't chop and change and switch chargers. You need the correct voltage charger, preferably the original charger. If that goes, then make sure you've bought your bike from a company where they can source those parts again, or they can get an exact replacement, again, of that particular part. Because I said, with the fire risk, and it is one of them ones where safety and safety tips and that kind of thing, it's so important that people know it and that people can spread it to others as well. So you may get one person who speaks, say, English, Arabic, and maybe say French or something like that. He may go to one of these sessions, and then he might know, say, 4 or 5 other delivery riders doing exactly the same thing as him, but because of the language barrier, now he can impart that knowledge to others, and then it can spread around like that. So it's not just those people going to those safety workshops who are getting the information, but that information can then be passed on. And that, I think, is one of the great things that can come from the London Fire Brigade, working with entities such as Deliveroo, and hopefully it does spread to Just the Stewart, Uber Eats, among others, Zap, among others, who have a lot of people riding electric bikes, which are great for the planet, they're sustainable, but obviously there are some people doing things on the cheap and maybe not doing it properly, not taking precautions, not taking the time to make sure things are done properly. So I said, not to demonize or specifically pigeonhole delivery riders, but a lot of these guys are buying bikes on the cheap or buying them secondhand, which we would advise against buying something with secondhand electrics. So if a bike's been converted, if it's a second-hand bike, then cool. But if it's second-hand electrics, we would advise staying away from it unless the seller knows the exact history of those electrics, how many charging cycles, how long they've had it for, how much it's been used, conditions it's been used in, when was the last time it was checked, all of that kind of thing. Unless you know that, it's very risky buying something with second-hand electrics attached to it. So it is one of them where these kind of workshops are just brilliant, and I'm hoping that the London Fire Brigade are able to partner up with more entities to do it. Because as I said, bear in mind, a lot of delivery riders are on low income, so they'll be looking for the cheapest deal. So it'd be one of them ones where it's like, oh, I didn't know a quality bike was £1,000 and upwards. I was expecting something for 300-400 quid that will last me all day, and all I can do is throttle on it. So no, I always say the old saying, buy cheap, buy twice. And I always say to people, if something is cheap, dirt cheap, you gotta think corners are being cut somewhere, and usually it's safety, as I've said on vlogs before. So some of the London Fire Brigade safety tips, I did want to come back to some of those as well. The London Fire Brigade recommends people take safety measures, including not converting pedal bikes into electric bikes using DIY kits bought online, as they can be very dangerous and pose a higher risk of fire. That one's an interesting one, but I always say it's about where you get your kits from. Because if you're buying something from a seller online, and number one, there's no warranty, number two, you can't get hold of the people selling it, And number 3, if the people selling it know nothing about what they're selling, do not buy. That's what I would add to that. Do not buy. So that would be where I'd expand on some of these safety tips. The next one is using a professional or competent person to carry out any bike conversion and to buy a new battery, not a second-hand one, from a reputable seller. Not really much you can add to that. Not really much you can add to that. In terms of a reputable seller, I would always look for these things. Can you find them on Company's House? Can you easily reach them? Are they contactable? And if they are contactable, is it a human on the phone, on the other side of the phone? Can you contact them directly via WhatsApp? Can you phone them? Can you email them? Are all of these things, and also as well, once you've done that, how long before you get an answer? If it's months before you get a reply, wouldn't advise it. Because then if you need parts, you may be waiting 3 to 6 months, if you can even get in touch. So those are things to bear in mind as well. Using the correct charger. Do not overcharge the battery, and never charge an e-bike or e-scooter unattended or when you're sleeping. Now, little bit of conjecture with the final part of this one. In terms of charging whilst you're sleeping, there are some chargers that can basically have a timer on them, and dependent on where you get your battery from will obviously give you the peace of mind as to whether or not you charge it overnight or not. Sometimes you might not have the option, but if you are, say, going to charge it overnight, it might be worth, if you've got a garden, charge it in the garden inside some sort of fireproof container. That would be one suggestion. In terms of overcharging, better quality batteries will have better quality BMSs, battery management systems. So those will automatically cut off to prevent them from being overcharged. So again, it's about knowing where you're getting your battery from and who you're getting your battery from. So knowing that quality of battery is key. Using the correct charger, that goes without saying. You don't want to be using a 52 volt charger on a 36 volt battery. Don't do that. Just don't, because it'll be putting too much current through at once, and it will obviously overheat the battery, potentially short the BMS, potentially short a fuse, damage cells, which then can become a fire risk. So there's that as well. Not charging e-bikes on an escape route, such as in a hallway. That is very good advice, because if there is some sort of catastrophic failure, if you say bought a second-hand battery, or you bought a battery where the cells are damaged and it does catch fire, you don't want to block your only escape route. That obviously will be fatal, especially if you've got a family and you've got young children, and maybe you live in a tower block or something like that. You do not want to block your only escape route. So yeah, it is a case of make sure you're charging it somewhere where it's not around other stuff that's going to catch fire, or also it's not around stuff that's easily flammable, for instance, as well. So the LFB, with those safety precautions, I actually agree with all of them. I definitely agree with all of them. Also as well, in terms of an additional safety precaution, in addition to the LFB and what they've said, there are certain precautions that we've talked about on the LE Bikes Tips and Tricks series, where if you're storing your e-bike outside, take the battery off, especially in either the freezing cold or the boiling heat, because the boiling heat can cause expansion of the battery, so it can cause the cells inside to swell, and that is dangerous, because if they explode, fire risk, or at the very least they can damage the cells, again, fire risk. Also as well, in the extreme cold, you can damage the cells if you leave them out as well. So that's another thing to bear in mind. During the extreme cold, you can actually damage the cells that way, and again, fire risk. And another one as well, If you do have to store your electric bike outside, make sure if you're taking when you take the battery off, make sure the contact points are covered. Or with my e-bike, I have my battery in a box, weatherproof box, solid rock hard plastic. Now that would be the ideal way to store the battery if you're locking it outside. I always take my battery out and bring it inside and charge it. I always do. So it's one of them ones, but obviously when I'm out and about, I don't want my bike exposed to direct sunlight because of the risks with that. So if you're storing your electric bike outside, it's a case of making sure the contact points are covered. Always keep your electric bike covered so that the contact points do not get any water or corrosion, which can damage your battery, which again, fire risk, and could potentially damage your motor too. So as well, I said, it's a case of look after your electric bike and it will look after you and serve you for many, many years. You know what? I want to know what you think. What do you think about what the London Fire Brigade, the LFB, and their initiative in partnership with Deliveroo, basically setting up safety workshops to teach delivery riders about how to safely store, use their electric bikes and the batteries as well? What do you think about that? I personally think it's a phenomenal idea, but what do you think? lebikes.co.uk, lebikes.co.uk is our official website. We're at LEBikes Ltd, facebook.com/LEBikes Ltd. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, LEBikes. We're also on YouTube as well. Our tips and tricks series, our opinion piece vlogs and podcasts can be found there, and also on Apple Podcasts and other major podcast providers. You can get in touch with us, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You can get in touch with us in those places as well. Remember, we are official authorized resellers for himiway long range electric bikes and also engwe electric bikes as well. We have them available on our website, as well as mid-drive conversion kits and batteries too, and also accessories as well. We convert bikes from bikes to electric bikes with the mid-drive conversion kits, Bafang mid-drive conversion kits as well. So you know what, if you need your bike converted, get in touch with us. I have been Liam Angel, aka Straight Shooting LJ, and until next time, everyone, happy riding, and we'll see you next time from LE Bikes. Take care. Mid-drive motor conversion kits, ready-made e-bikes, batteries, bike to e-bike conversions, custom builds and more. Start your journey into electric bikes at lebikes.co.uk.